wondering.
That's the funny part, Maria. We actually started the show like 15 minutes ago. You just didn't know it. Oh, you can hear us?
Oh, no.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and apologize really quick. We're dingbats. But this is Stacie, Northwest Senior and Disability Services, and I'm very excited. Today I have Bill Bartlein, Commissioner Bartlein, and Michelle Jenck, who is our YOW Wellness Extraordinaire. Some people call her a coordinator. I like extraordinaire better. And we are here to kind of give a little update about, there's just been a lot of excitement in the last 6 or 8 weeks in regards to the Year of Wellness. But I want to back up a little bit because it's a good time for us to just recap where we've been in 2 years and all the wonderful accomplishments that we've had so far. Take it away, Bill. Not to put you on the spot.
Wow. Thank you, Stacie. This started, about 3 years ago, actually, with Marlene Putman from our health department was in my office, and we were kind of throwing ideas off the wall. And I said, well, what about a year of wellness? One project that we can all work on. And the thought at that point was just one project. And so then it was brought up at the Adventist what do they call that? The reach out, where they're asking people what the community wants for health. And that topic came up again. And then lo and behold, Michelle ended up in my office and said, when are we going to start?
Yeah.
And that was, I think, in 2015. I said, well, we need to take our time on this and do it right. So we took a whole year planning ahead. And then, boy, I tell you, we started in, and the community, the healthcare community completely bought in. We had partners, 60 partners or more that
I think so.
really have bought into making Tillamook one of the healthiest places in the state. We have just done some tremendous things. First year, the 2016, it was more of a shotgun approach, and what all can we do? And we did so many things.
I know, there was so many activities. We were all like a bunch of free-range chickens running around. It was great.
Pretty hectic there. One of the things about that, I think, that was really important, that really got us off on the right foot, was there was a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and people were demonstrating their readiness for change. People want to be healthier, and they need help. And it was a little bit of a help is on the way moment for our community, and I think that resonated.
Yeah.
I think so. And then the healthcare professionals, they all worked in a partnership. There was no silos. Everybody held hands and said, let's do this. And so that's what was exciting to me, is to watch all the coordination and everybody working together towards one goal. You know,
it's funny that you say that, because a couple of weeks ago we were in one of our strategic planning meetings, and I was looking across the table, and it was Marge from the Reinhardt and, Tillamook Hospital and Marlene Putnam, and it just was everybody that needed to be. Ginny Gable was there from the hospital, and just the right people around the table, I think, to kind of help us leap into this up and coming year. And the fact that we can support those people that are doing all the good work, boots on the ground too.
Absolutely. These are all nonprofits.
Yeah.
It's not like a private business industry model where you can sell more widgets to make more money,
right,
to invest more in your company and have a greater impact. This requires very strategic and innovative and creative leveraging of limited resources. And historically, we've had to really count on tax revenue and then allocation from budgets at the state and federal level to create investments in community health intervention strategies. And then they've been only employed through certain levers. And this is a totally different approach, and it's absolutely necessary given the magnitude of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's gotten the state's attention. I mean, we're now being held up as a model, and they're trying to figure out what the heck we're doing.
And so are we at times.
So are we.
But
it's uniquely Tillamook. It came from the grassroots up, and everybody's cooperating together, and it's really an exciting thing for Tillamook County.
And if you're at the grocery store and you could stop someone that's local and ask them what YOW is, and they're going to know. It's been very well branded. There's been a lot of good work around the outreach too, and being, present in our community so that people know what it is, and they're kind of being mindful a little bit.
Well, we kind of had to make wellness sexy, and we had to make it a product that people wanted to buy. Otherwise, all it is something that requires a lot more work and effort on people's parts,
Right.
Which most people just don't have.
I love it. I
Yep.
love it.
And getting healthy or living healthier, it can be fun too. I do far more walking and watching a little more what I eat, but just getting out and moving, you can get rid of a lot of stress that way.
Yes.
Just walk around.
Clears your head. There's a lot of studies about that, and a lot of good places that we can go in Tillamook County to go and be off the grid for a minute, right? Tell me about the up and coming trail projects and outdoor projects that are coming our direction.
Well, I know one thing is Nan has some wayfinding signs that she's working on through Visit Tillamook Coast, and I know I don't know much about that yet, but I think that's whatever we're doing to promote tourist use of our local trails and resources is going to benefit our community members as well, because whatever makes it more accessible and convenient and more attractive is going to be of benefit to our own citizens. An interesting thing, so these destination management organizations like Nan Devlin is working with Visit Tillamook Coast, Marcus Hines, who most people probably know is the proprietor of Kayak Tillamook. He is the destination management organization head for the entire Tillamook Coast.
Oh, wow.
And I
don't
not
know.
know
What
that.
does that mean?
So
That sounds very
Yeah.
important. We got to talk about that.
Bill can probably speak to this better than I, but I've been doing a lot of research around population health, improvements in the built environment. And so I'm reaching out to the different organizations that have anything to do with trails and outdoor recreation to understand better how the two of us can intersect in our work. So that has led me to learn a little bit about the fact that the transient lodging tax dollars that are generated at both the state level and at various community levels are funding organizations that promote tourism. And we happen to have two of them based here in our own community. So these dollars, again, back to leveraging dollars, are being used to invest in improvements to the trails and outdoor recreation experiences that people can have when they visit us. And they're also being used to market, to bring more people here, which we all know is
Very important.
Has been also, had its challenges, because some of our outdoor recreation facilities are being kind of loved to death, is the phrase that's being thrown around a little bit. But so one of our other goals is to help people understand how to responsibly use our outdoor facilities. But Marcus is one of 6 destination management organizations receiving these resources from the state level, and his region is the Oregon coast, from the California border to the Washington border. And of course, we're a big chunk of that, and so a lot of the funding is going toward promotion of the resources that we have right here in Tillamook County. And he is working on a way to really highlight the wonderful experiences that people can have when they visit us here through a website called outdoorproject.com. And I really encourage people to check it out. It's got a great platform for people to know what's right here in their own backyard.
Well, and what I'm thinking about as we're talking about YOW is that might be a really good way to have resources or know where to go, that you can go out. And I mean, if you're local, you kind of know where you go out to the spit or to the beach, and we know those things, but this might, you introduce you to something new or remind you of something you haven't done for a long time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've invested in Kelch's Point. That's a
I love
really
Kelch's
great,
Point.
good place to walk. And I've been working on the Salmonberry Trail now for must be
where's the
6 or
updates with
7
that?
years. One of these times I'll do a whole show on where we are on that.
Yeah.
It would take up too
It's
much time right
yeah.
now. But I do want to make that one of my goals in my the rest of this term, is to try to get that trail started in Tillamook and make Tillamook the catalyst project here.
Neat.
I think we have some opportunities to do that. The exercise available off of that trail will just be tremendous. If you can just leave your house and hit the trail and go for a walk at night without having to worry about traffic or anything else.
And exercise is so important as part of a key fund, like for health, right? As Yao was trying to share with us.
Absolutely. Exercise is, if there were a magic pill to prevent chronic disease, exercise would be it.
That's on a bumper sticker right there, quoted by Michelle Jenck.
Yeah.
It's our new Yao motto. No, it's not.
I like it.
Nutrition obviously plays a huge role too,
Sure.
but the other thing about these paved trails is it gets people into safer places where they can go with their families, with young children. I loved riding a bike when I was a kid. Not very many kids in Tillamook even own bikes, let alone ride them, because there aren't very many safe places that are conveniently located. So it's, I wasn't aware when my children were young about 9th Street Park. Of course, Bud's Fitness Trail at the Tillamook Junior High wasn't built yet, but that would be another great location to take young children with their bikes, or just to walk your dog, whatever, or skateboarding and, rollerblading, whatever.
So can you go on this website you were talking about and see where all those are? Or is that
a lot
the
of
goal?
the local parks are probably not listed on there, but he has a variety of outdoor recreation recommendations in a really well laid out format. And it's everything from fishing and hunting and hiking and bird watching to...
There's a big bird watch little thing here, isn't there?
There
in
is.
Tillamook. It surprised me. I've been out on the spit a few times walking, and there'll just be like a whole flock, if you will, of people, a gaggle out there.
Oh my God.
Is it a herd?
I think it's time for a break, folks. Where do you go to find almost anything you need for home improvement? I'll tell you where. Rosenberg's. Rosenberg's has been your local connection for anything you need to build and finish your home to perfection. Carpet cabinets, paint, electrical, plumbing, nuts and bolts, fencing, windows, doors, and so much more. All those items in one place, but that's only part of the story. What really makes Rosenberg's your stop for home improvement is their people. Their knowledgeable, friendly staff is there to help you through any project. Any question from what paint you should have or use to how to install new shower valves, you can get the help you need and do it right the first time. Stop by Rosenberg's today to rediscover what you've known all along. It's better to shop local and work with great people that you can see every day. Build it, plumb it, wire it, paint it. Rosenberg Builder Supply in Tillamook. So if you're just popping in, this is Stacie with Northwest Senior and Disability Services with Commissioner Bartlein and Michelle Jenck. And, I think I got us off track a little bit talking about some of these things, and I need to get us back to the year of wellness, but I just get so interested and forget what I'm doing. So
these interviews with you are always interesting.
I know.
Stacie.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It was a compliment. It is a compliment. I can come out of here and I'm laughing when I leave. So that's really a good thing. Laughter is the best medicine.
It is. It is.
So as we're talking here, we've gotten interest from OHSU and Extension, and they want to do a study on Tillamook, and so they're working with us to come up with that one project this year. The way we originally thought of the Year of Wellness, what's the one thing we can do to improve health in Tillamook? So we've been working for the last 6 weeks to come up with that one project. And
It's
so
been a lot of work, a lot of dedication from the various agencies. And if you're listening and didn't know about this, everybody, got together and we committed, it was 3 or 4 hours a week for 6-7 weeks to put together, to walk down a road to figure out what the community wants, and based on this data that we've collected, right? Maybe
Correct.
Michelle can speak to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we have a task force of over 20 people, and in all, they've committed since September 22nd over 100 hours of their time
Wow.
in strategically planning around these big goals of really changing community health from the ground up.
That's awesome. And so what does that mean for 2018?
So that means that we're going to be looking at diabetes. It's a national problem. It's a national health issue. But as you're working to improve the outcomes in diabetes and maybe slowing the trend down, you're also working the same time on heart attacks and strokes and everything else, because a lot of what you do for one influences the other. So even though we're saying we're focusing on diabetes, we're actually focusing on overall health, but our primary area will be looking at what we can do to improve the health outcomes for diabetes.
Yes, there's all kinds of parallels between heart disease and cancer. Yes, we're playing charades. It's 2 words. Sounds like Michelle just gave me some symbols or some little signs. Good ones. Anyway, so yes, it's very exciting.
Well, and the other reason that we really felt the need to settle in on one specific health priority was to give us something that we could track and measure. It's wonderful that by tackling one serious health condition, we can address many, many others. But the value that we are getting from OHSU and OSU's involvement is the ability to actually track and measure and evaluate the work that we're doing to understand what kind of an impact we are having.
Yeah, are we just running around like chickens with our heads cut off and not making a difference, or are we making a difference?
Right.
Intuitively, I know we've made a difference. Just talking to people that are walking now, that are dieting, or improving their diets, small ways. It doesn't have to be big. Just walk around the block once, and you've improved over maybe what you've done in the past.
Right. It's very exciting, and I think that's there's some negative stigmas around these kinds of things and the behaviors and changing your behavior, and that it's just taking that one little step, finding one thing that you think you can do and adding it. And Michelle, you were talking about all these great things that we can do to kind of outline how to kind of start moving in a more healthy direction. And so let's talk about a few of those. And the one that kind of jumps out that is be present.
Yes.
It's a little bit hard at times because of this crazy world we live in, right?
Very much so. But research shows, especially for children, that just taking time to actually be fully present with someone when you're communicating with them, and the relationship that's built from that, and the mindfulness component of that action has tremendous health payoffs. It's simple things that we probably don't think about, that are pretty what we call upstream, seem to actually be having the greatest impact on people's risk factors and ability to prevent chronic disease. So part of our goal is going to be to help people understand what those mean, or what kinds of factors we're talking about. So
I think of that as just slowing down a little bit and being thoughtful about the decisions you make with, the types of foods you choose when you're
Absolutely.
at a holiday party. This is a tough time of year for people.
Oh, yes.
Very much so. And feeling guilty and shameful about what you're doing has been proven to be counterproductive.
Absolutely.
In your efforts to be healthier. So anybody that goes into the holiday season with high expectations of having willpower and then subsequently failing in that, it's really detrimental to their long-range, likelihood of really making those positive health changes that they're seeking in their life. And then that's really discouraging. So it becomes kind of a vicious cycle. And so the psychology behind all of that, one of our goals is to continue to speak in a language that helps reshape the way people look at behavior and the psychology behind what they do and why they do it, so that they can develop healthier, more constructive ways to interact with each other and with themselves. Self-compassion is a huge thing. Like, would you beat up somebody else verbally for eating a piece of chocolate cake the way that you do yourself?
Right.
No, of course not. You'd be like, oh, it was a long day. It was your birthday,
Right.
whatever. So yeah, those are things that we really want to help reshape community culture and conversations.
And I think we've talked a lot about empowering people to be proud of the good choices and not focus so much on the negative, and that, oh, I did that. Why did I do that? And then beating yourself up, kind of, which alludes to what you were saying.
Yeah, you got to be able to forgive yourself if you decide to have a whole carton of ice cream at one sitting. That happens.
Well, and maybe just buy a really
this week.
tiny one next time, so you can say, I ate a whole carton of ice cream, but it was just the little guy. So, it's 100 calories versus 600 calories.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, the next day I stepped on the scales and I was 4 pounds heavier. And I
Right.
thought, oh man, maybe I shouldn't eat that whole carton last night.
Oh, this is a real life.
No, this is real.
True life testimonials by your county commissioner.
It was a really tough day.
Commissioner. confessions.
Yes.
Well, if you're going to do it, ice cream's the way to go. That's, we can all
And it was Tillamook ice cream.
Oh,
so
well, see, you're fine then.
We're okay.
Our unofficial motto is "Go big or go home."
Right.
So there's that.
I better take another break before Maria comes in here. Get in trouble. Okay, so sleep is far more crucial to health than you may realize. 25% of Americans report not getting enough sleep at night, and 10% say they suffer from insomnia. A lack of high-quality sleep can cause grogginess and fatigue throughout the day, but it also can lead to serious chronic diseases, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and obesity. Some tips for preventing sleep apnea and other sleeping disorders include quitting smoking, avoiding alcohol, caffeine, and heavy meals 2 to 3 hours before bed, developing a regular sleep schedule, and keeping the bedroom dark, quiet, and cool. Sleep experts also recommend powering down cell phones, tablets, and the TV in advance of bedtime. And Tillamook Regional Medical Center's Sleep Lab is designed with you in mind. To find out more, talk to the experts at Tillamook Regional Medical Center. They are committed to health and wellness in our community, as we've been discussing. And sleep is a really big part of this too. And from what I understand, someone was telling me that sleep apnea, it affects your kidneys and your whole system in a lot of other ways than just I can't breathe well and I'm not getting oxygen flowing, which was a little scary.
The body is such a complex, interconnected system of systems that's why there's no one strategy that a person can employ to achieve health and well-being. They're all interconnected. So how we sleep, how we eat, how we move, how we think, all of those things can either facilitate or compromise our health or our ability to prevent chronic disease. So, but we were talking a little bit about behaviors and how it's difficult to change behavior. We all have lapses. We all have the best of intentions, and then life happens.
Sure.
And so one of the strategies that we've really been talking about in all of these hours that we've spent with our strategic planning process is the importance of understanding how changing the environment that we're living in, and by environment I don't mean the ozone layer or global climate change. I'm talking about the actual environment. Are my did I buy cookies and then leave them in the package on the counter, and then I'm compelled to eat them every time I walk by them? Or did I buy cookies but put them in a cookie jar that's not see-through, and then I eat probably half as many, half as often? Or do I not buy cookies at all, and I buy fruit and I put it on the table, and then I'm inclined to eat more fruit and substitute fruit for cookies?
Right.
So changing our environment both within our own individual capacities, but at the collective action level, we're looking at how can we actually change the environment of Tillamook County so that things are more accessible, more convenient, more conducive to just organically changing people's behavior by virtue of just how things are structured and how the community functions as a whole system. So everything from the grocery store checkout lines to other, trails and things like that.
Sure. And what are some other things, Bill? I noticed that you have a couple little things over there. I want to make sure we have a chance to talk about everything that's on our checklist today.
I think I went through quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
We do have the statistics on diabetes in Oregon, and when you start going through some of those statistics, it's mind-boggling. The $3 billion a year we spend on healthcare because of diabetes. And
I think, if I remember correctly, Tillamook was had one of the highest rates of diabetes.
Yes, it
in
is.
the state.
That's correct.
So, yikes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we're drawing attention to it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just hard for people in Tillamook to get out and exercise. From the end of October until April or May, we're pretty much shut-ins.
Right.
Because it gets dark later it's dark later in the morning, and then by 5 o'clock it's totally dark out. So to find the time to go out and do a walk is difficult. You need your lunch hour if you can do it on a lunch hour.
So we will be doing a lot more promotion around walking and walkability, and we'll have some groups that will be led by trained walking leaders, and some of those will be indoors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Walk with Ease is a program that the Extension service already provides, and they meet and walk at the Fairgrounds Pavilion. And so we're going
So
to
there
look to
are
expand.
those outlets.
Yeah, we're going to expand and promote more of those kinds of resources.
Well,
for
we
people.
talked before we went on air too, is that, I have been trying to be out walking more, and I'll look outside. A day like this, it's gorgeous out. You feel good about it. And then if it's raining, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to go. But Michelle, you made a really good point when I was talking about if you go out there, even if it's misting and a little bit rainy, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get a little wet. You go home, take a shower, but you feel good. Your body feels good from making that decision, right?
And you're so much more mentally alert.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing. Then we're more productive. Then we feel better about ourselves. It's just a cascading effect of positive.
And that Kilch's Point, that's got a lot of good tree cover. So even if it's a rainy day, that's a really good option, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Marilyn and I hiked Bay Ocean Spit. This must have been 20 years ago. We got out there, and then a southwester hit, and it was the most miserable cold hike back I have ever had. Actually, we were on our bicycles into the wind, and it was pounding on us. We got back, got the wood stove going, had hot chocolates and peppermint schnapps. Am I allowed to say that on the air? But
Well,
we had
you are now.
chocolate, and it felt so good when we got back.
There's a lot of ways the directions this could go, and so
it was one of our
the word.
It was one of the best hikes that we could remember, looking back on it, because of how good it felt to get warmed up again.
Yes, I love that. Those are good memeries.
Those
And,
are.
getting out there, especially the Spit, that's one of my favorite places to walk.
It is mine,
So.
too.
Beautiful.
All right, well, let's just a little nod to our sponsors today, Rosenberg Builder Supply and Tillamook Regional Medical Center. Monday, we have the OSU Extension Service. And a reminder that senior meals are at 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Noon on weekdays at the Kiwanis Community Center and PC, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center on 4th and Stowell, as well as Tuesdays and Thursdays in Nehalem as well at noon. The Pioneer Museum's Festival of Trees is happening now, open during business hours. You can go in and view the beautiful trees on display. This gala event tonight is sold out, but if you'd like to bid on a tree, just let the ladies at the desk know. TAP is holding auditions for their up-and-coming comedy Sweethearts today and tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock both days. Auditions will be held at the Tillamook County Library main branch, and audition packets can be found online at tillamooktheater.com. Tillamook Community Chorus is having their annual Christmas concert on tomorrow, starting at 7 at the Methodist Church on 12th Street in Tillamook. A donation of $5 will enter you in a raffle basket, to win a raffle basket. Boy Scouts are selling Christmas trees at the PUD parking lot on Saturday 10 to 4 and Sunday 10 to 2. Trees are a suggested donation of $20 each, and Santa is coming to Rockaway Beach Fire Department on Saturday at 6:30. Refreshments, treats, prizes, and rides on the truck. December's Monday musicals program is a Sing-Along Messiah concert starting at 7 p.m. at the Adventist Church this Monday. And again, that's this coming Monday. Boy, there's nothing ever going on in Tillamook, is there? So if we're talking about all this health stuff, this is really good. Be out there,
Yes.
and being part of your community is just one more way that you can do it, and maybe have some fun in the meantime. And I do want to take a moment and remind people that have been listening today, if you want more information about any of the things we're talking about, good resources with recipes and resources in their community, the whole bit, Tillamook County Health Matters is the website.org. TillamookCountyHealthMatters.org. I've said it 100 times, but I stumbled there. So thank you, Commissioner Bartline and Michelle Jenck, for coming and talking about these really important topics, and very excited for this up and coming year and to learn more about health in our community and fighting diabetes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Be well, Tillamook.